Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second series of the Untold Journey podcast. It's a youth series with me, Mahalet Abraham. The Untold Journey podcast is a monthly 30 to 45 minutes podcast series to narrate and document the journey of the youth and women in their respective capacity and areas. So the podcast will feature individuals in peace and security, governance, human rights, democracy, and climate change, and also other thematic areas. Today, with this series, we have joined by a young human rights activist, Logman Usman from Sudan. Logman Usman is a peace and security expert. He will be taking us through his personal journey. We will talk about the things he has done, the challenges he faced, how he overcome the challenges, as well as where he is now and where he wanted to be in the future. I'm very excited as we are going to dive into his personal journey, because he's doing an amazing job in Sudan and to the continent as well. Logman, we are very honored to have you today on the second episode of the Untold Journey podcast series. How are you doing now? Are you in Sudan now? How is the situation looks like in Sudan?
Thank you very much, my dear Mahi, for the invitation to speak in today's podcast. Good morning, everybody. This is Logman Osman. I'm from Sudan, but currently I'm in Kenya, Nairobi, due to the security situation back in my home.
We are very honored and humbled to have you today. So I'll just proceed to the conversation. So Logman, who is Logman? If people ask you, who is he? How do you describe yourself?
Thank you very much again. Actually, if we come to speak about the reality of who is Logman, I'm a Sudanese young activist or advocating for peace and security, with 5 years of experiences in African governance, peace and security agenda, consulting and working with diverse organizations and NGOs, including the United Nations, the African Union, and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, known as. I bring the wealth of the deep understanding of the continent challenge and opportunities in Africa. Also, the knowledge of the Sudan's conflict dynamics, historical context, the root causes, key actors, and the role of the international community and the international community interventions in the country. Actually, also, I'm advocating for youth engagement in peace and security in Africa, in tandem with the decision of the meeting number 807 of the African Union Peace and Security Council that asking the African youth to participate actively in peace and security, as long as the article number 11 and 17 of African Youth Charter, Bujumbura Declaration on Youth Peace and Security, and the African Continental Framework on Youth Peace and Security, also both in the Agenda 2063 goals.
Yeah, I can tell that you have like a wide experience. You worked with AU, UN, and different also regional organization. So it's quite a lot experience that you have. I'm sure that you have a lot to contribute to this podcast and also to share with the audiences as well. So going through the conversation, Logman, what was your first or your initial sparked you to have interest in human rights, democracy, peace building, and security issues in Africa?
Actually, growing in a country like Sudan, a country known by conflict, that I have witnessed the impact of the conflict and violence on the community, which inspired me to work towards a continent or a country where all Africans can live in peace and security. In addition, in Africa, the youngest continent in the world, peace and security operation of negotiation and process are going without use in the room, and the decision on youth agenda or youth own agenda is taken on their behalf. It inspired me to enhance the capacity of youth, to empower them to participate actively in peace and security, and to be in the front line of the peace and security operations in the country, or even in the continent.
True. It's actually growing up and living in areas that are conflict affected areas. It's also and it can be a reason for everyone, you know, to be interested in working in human rights, peace and conflict, because the way you pass through the things you have seen, you know, through your childhood, when you grow up, those things are not easy. So you wanted to have peace, you wanted to live in a peaceful country where human rights and democracy are respected. So it's so it's definitely of course that will be your sparkling. So going through your journey as well, Logman, you know, for youth there are different challenges that we have. The first one that I can raise is exclusion from decision-making processes. You know, when we see the users, they do a lot of things, but their voices are unheard, right? It might be from their government or institutions, but we can see that the users are excluded from decision-making processes. In addition to that, the exposure to conflicts and violences. If we see like countries like Sudan, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Somalia, like those countries within Horn of Africa, the users are very exposed to civil wars, conflicts, and also there are tensions that are fueled by extremists. It might be religious or other issues, right? So those are major issues that we can raise about the challenges. So I would like to hear about your experience, how and what shaped your understanding of human rights, peace and security, the challenges that are faced by the young people in Africa.
If you come to speak about the challenge that African youth are facing in peace and security, you will find many challenges, starting from the lack of capacity. To participate actively in peace and security operations in Africa or even in other continents, youth must have enough skills and capacity to participate actively in the peace and security process, starting from the early warning, the mediation, the negotiations, the post-conflict construction, and other needed skills for youth. Also, youth are suffering from the decision making, as you mentioned, due to the lack of trust. In many African countries, we notice that there is a lack of trust between youth and the government, and we need to foster trust between them through intergenerational dialogue, regional meetings, to give youth access to information and to participate in policy development and reforms, including developing of the national action plans on youth peace and security. Taking such steps will help youth to be in the front line of peace and security, and we are going to change the perspective of the stereotypes of youth as troublemakers into partners for peace.
Yeah, the challenges are like it's not easier, right? It makes youth participation very difficult in peace and security missions or activities. So it's not easier. So, Logman, you are working with UN. You are working as well as in these peace and security areas.
My journey towards the activism or advocating for peace and security and youth involvement in peace and security actually started since the universities here, where I participated in many youth-led initiatives that are advocating for peace and security and peace and justice in Eastern Horn of Africa. This led me to opportunities to work and consult with regional blocks, continental organizations, and international organizations such as the African Union and the United Nations. And this gave me the opportunity to contribute to the African Governance Peace and Security or African Peace and Security Agenda. Actually, as I mentioned, I start by joining initiatives, online initiatives that are advocating for peace and security through online sessions, through advocating on social media, through participating in webinars that pushing for engaging youth peace and security and policy reforms. This is how my journey started. And after that, I moved into consultations. I moved into volunteering. I moved into doing internship, and then we are coming to the issue of working with those organizations.
That's quite interesting because you started your journey from schools, then you started to use social media as a tool for you to do the advocacy at the same time to network and get involved in those advocacy initiatives, right? Which is very interesting because mostly the users are like they also educated, some of them are there but they don't know where to start. So it's good for them as well to get involved through different initiatives that we have in schools as well as on online platforms because now it's a tech generation, like they use it everywhere on social media and also internet. So it's good to use internet for the good cause, which is one is advocacy. At the same time, also you do networking so that at the same time you work on your career growth, right? So which is really interesting to hear that. So Logman, hearing your stories, I'm sure that you started the journey young age, very young age, and now also you are young. But I would like to hear also your challenges because it's not easy to be in this place, right? Even your country now, you are not based in your country because of the conflict. You have to be in other country. That's not easy as well. So, what are those your biggest challenges? Your biggest challenges you faced, and also how do you overcome those challenges, because it is not easy, and I feel like this story of you will inspire others as well, because some of them fear the challenge and run away from being activists of human rights, peace or security. So I would like to hear those stories as well.
If we come to speak about the challenge that I went through, currently as I mentioned, I'm in Kenya, Nairobi. And I'm doing some work in analyzing the context of the situation that it is a big challenge for me that to analyze situation where I'm not resident or being in, but I'm using my own and my relations, working relation with NGOs and organizations that work in there. If we spoke earlier, since I started my career, actually balancing my activism and personal safety was a significant challenge for me. In Sudan, speaking out against injustice can come with serious risk for yourself or even for people who are working with you. But however, by building a strong network of support and navigate this analysis and strategies, I have been able to navigate this challenge and contribute to my case or contribute to the peace and security process.
That's interesting to hear because it's not an easy challenge as well. And also building that community or support system throughout your journey is also one of an interesting thing, because there is a saying which says if you want to work to achieve or to go to somewhere, work alone. But if you want to work far, go with someone else, right? It's not just only you. So it's good to find out your solidarity, your support system, so that the challenges will not be challenge all the time, right? So you will change them to opportunities, you will grow them. So that's also one of the things. So thank you so much for sharing your challenges. So Logman, maybe if you share also a story, because I feel like it's good to hear stories about you or your organization made a positive impact in one's young life, or it might be also the community. So what are those positive impacted stories that you could share with the audiences?
Uh, Actually, as I committed to engage in youth peace and security now, I can share a story when I was youth peace and security officer with a local NGO in Sudan. I was working to advocating for youth engagement in the policies, and to do that, we have noticed that youth in Sudan lack the capacity to participate in this policy reform, in developing strategies and discussion. So we have established series of options to enhance the capacity of youth, providing the enough and necessary skills and experiences that would enable them to actively contribute to the mission. And also, out of the capital, we did some campaigns and also workshops. But we focused on enhancing the relation between the youth and the local leadership and government there, giving youth access to information and to participate in negotiation process in that stage of the village. And we are aiming through those programs to give users access to the information and to foster the collaboration between youth and the government. And this helps youth to participate in the policy and also to many programs, including Sudan National Strategy for Countering Terrorism.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that stories, Logman, because I know like the youth from Sudan are very active, very vocal, and I can tell that you are doing a lot of work even during the conflict. I know that many young people were there to support the community. So thank you so much for sharing that story. Maybe I feel like you have quite long experience working in peace and security areas, and I feel like you have a lot to say on these issues. But what are the key strategies that you found out through your journeys, through your experiences, that you feel like it's like a key strategy to promote human rights, peace and security among young people?
Through our work, I think we found that engaging those including organizing like community programs or art-based activities and using social media advocating for engaging youth peace and security. And also we were providing platform for youth to share their experiences, perspective, and to collaborate together for peace and security projects in Sudan or even regionally in East Africa.
True, because leveraging social media, as we said, it's not just only social media, not just only internet, but also the mainstreaming medias also can be a tool for promoting human rights, peace and security, right? For the young people, especially, it's easier to access those platforms. So that can be one of the areas you recommended. But also encouraging to have also dialogues, because dialogue is the one which brought the youth, the elders, the women, and other people, right, to come on the table and discuss their problems. So encouraging young people to come together and to discuss and to have dialogue is also one of a strategy that they can use. Thank you so much for highlighting that, Logman. Going through the conversation, the question that I wanted to ask you now is, important role in leadership, but as we said before, they are excluded in major decision-making processes. But what are the roles that the youth can play in leadership?
African youth actually can contribute to the sustainability of peace and stability in the continent. Youth can bring like fresh perspective, innovative idea, and actually can bring the energy to the table as a role. We have seen many youth-led initiatives in Africa, including in Sudan, where Sudanese youth actually a lot of other examples in Africa, including in countries such as Rwanda, Ethiopia, South Africa, Kenya as well, where youth contributed to the stability of the countries. As I mentioned, youth will bring the fresh ideas, and they will bring the energy to the room. Also, they are going to bring the agenda and to the attention of the international community, and also to the attention of the government.
True. Thank you so much, Logman. As we go forwarding and looking the future, you know, we all have dreams, hopes to our country, to the continent, and to the globe as well, right? So maybe it's good to, if you could share us your hopes, your dreams, for the future of human rights, peace, security, democracy in Africa? What are those hopes?
Actually, my hopes for Africa, which I can summarize in 3 points. I'm looking forward to see all African peace and security and rights are respected, and youth are in front line, front line of the peace and security operations, and also peace and security is a reality and not a dream for all African in the continent. I can summarize my dreams in these 3 points.
Thank you so much, because those hopes are not just only yours, it's all African youth hopes and dreams. We wanted to see our Africa to be our home, our future, right? So we have this slogan that we said, Africa, my home, my future. If we want to live in Africa, we wanted to see the prosperous Africa that the youth, like everyone lives in respect of human rights, democracy, peace and security. So thank you so much for sharing your hopes and dreams. Maybe this one will be your last question. Maybe if you have like advice to other young people who wanted to make difference like yours, maybe you can also here mention your experience in peace and security missions that you worked on. It will be a good to include that stories as well.
My message is to my fellow African youth is to never underestimate the power of your voice. Start by engaging your local community and advocate for amplifying the voice of the marginalized groups, and advocating for peace and justice in the continent. And I'm sure together we are going to build a shining future for our African continent. But also, my advice for youth is to keep enhancing your skills and to be familiar with the regional and continental framework and strategies on youth peace and security. Because if we want to be engaged in something, we need to be aware of it, and no one is going to give us an opportunity. We should take away and to reach our goal and to reach our one African continent.
Yeah, it's good also to claim the space, at the same time also to start from zero, right? We shouldn't all of us shouldn't we like think of like to go at policy level, at like higher level, but we can start from the little one, from our community, to contribute for those human rights, democracy, peace and security, right? So thank you so much for highlighting those issues and for the advices. Logman, thank you so much for taking us through your journey. Truly appreciated. To be honest, I'm very humbled to have you in this podcast. You are doing amazing job. We are very proud of you. We are also you are also part of the youth delegates of AACC. So we are really proud of what you are doing today. And viewers of podcast, as you know that today we had this young activist from Sudan, Logman, and he shared his empowering stories with us. Thank you so much once again, Logman. Before you leave, make sure that you have subscribed to the All African Conferences of Churches YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Logman.
Thank you very much, Mai.